We begin with information about what's happening around the world. Satellite images we're seeing from the Minor Vision System. They claim that the United States Air Base at Mubsan al-Sadi Base in Jordan. The images highlight the preparations they are currently making for the Patriot systems. Obviously, this could mean that they are already preparing for a conflict with Iran. Also, in other images that stand out today, there are these images of a plant that was reportedly attacked by a drone system. These were reportedly Ukrainian drones that hit this red chemical plant, which is 139 kilometers northwest of Moscow, according to the plant's report. It produces specialized chemicals, including erythric compounds, fuel additives, and reagents. The Russian armed forces, military aviation, aerospace sector, and missiles depend on this supply. Another issue that also draws attention is what is happening with the Neptune systems, which have now been launched by the Ukrainians. Neptune systems. These are Ukrainian-built missiles that have been used this time to fire at or attack the Russians' energy system. There it is. This is the Neptune. According to reports, these missiles, along with the High Mobility Artillery Rocket systems, the High Mobility Artillery Rocket system is the launcher, Neptune is the missile. They have been striking facilities that are the heart of Russian energy. These key facilities would be hit, causing massive blackouts in different areas. According to the group, the governor of the Oblast region in Bryansk, Alexander Bogomas, stated that Ukraine launched Neptune missiles and high-mobility artillery rocket system rockets at the same time, also targeting energy infrastructure in different parts of Russia. The attack took place on February 7 today, taking advantage of the darkness before dawn. Due to the high energy demand, both countries have been attacking each other's electrical systems. According to the governor, all 7 districts in the area were left without power, and emergency teams are working against the clock to restore it. Acknowledged by the governor in that Russian area, the Neptune missile made in Ukraine was originally designed as an anti-ship missile with a range of 300 kilometers and is now also used to launch from various land locations. This missile has been in use since 2000 to sink the Russian flagship Moskva, which was considered a historic blow to the Russian Navy. The Ukrainian government has not confirmed or denied the attack on the electrical system, maintaining strategic ambiguity, but international media point out that the claims of these blackouts have been increasingly verified by various Russian sources as well as international media. Another issue that also draws attention is what is happening regarding this Nipah virus, which, although it seemed at one point to be a bit more under control, what the publications and the alerts that are being issued right now show is that the alert has spread. According to the reports regarding this virus, the famous Nipah virus, alerts have been issued in different parts of South Asia. Let's check where the alerts are being issued and, most importantly, why. Initially, it seemed there were no more cases. Although there was a pre-alert, the maximum alert, which is the full prevention alert, had not been reached. In this situation, according to the latest report already published in Science Alert and on various science and medical sites, they confirmed that the Nipah virus has triggered alerts in Thailand, Singapore. This is due to the outbreaks that have been increasing, obviously, in different places. 2 confirmed deaths in West Bengal have caused a health alert to be issued in Thailand. Malaysia and Singapore for now. According to reports from these 3 countries, they would be, let's say, the ones who are afraid that an outbreak from India might spread to that area. Singapore activated new border control protocols, Malaysia is doing the same, and Thailand also increased its border surveillance, especially for travelers coming from India. There is enhanced epidemiological surveillance being reinforced to prevent the spread of these cases. It's a zoonotic virus, Nipah, the Nipah virus, which is transmitted from animals to humans, especially from fruit bats, although it can also be contracted through pigs or even contaminated food. In addition to this, the virus manifests itself in a period that ranges from 4 days to 3 weeks. That means it can take up to around 21 days for symptoms to appear, which include respiratory issues, pneumonia, fever, seizures, and encephalitis, which is brain inflammation. And the issue here, the problem, as we've already mentioned, is the high mortality rate. Let's see, it's between 40 and 75%, so it really is something to be very careful about. Obviously, fortunately, this one doesn't spread from human to human, or is it very rare for something like that to happen? In fact, it's more of a zoonotic transmission. I'm sure it will be reported. In Australia, for example, they're conducting phase 1 antibody trials, but there is no effective treatment or vaccine available at this time. So, well, that's another thing that stands out. Today, it seemed like things were calm, but the alert still remains. If someone has recently traveled to affected areas and develops a fever, they should inform their doctor immediately. However, obviously there are other situations like malaria, typhoid, which are also present in that same region and can also cause confusion with the symptoms since they are common symptoms, but in many cases they become more severe, right? Obviously, this already represents a challenge for Asia, but it's a challenge of prevention and alertness. No, it's not a challenge because the outbreak has spread or anything like that. It's just that they haven't managed to control it yet in India, and that's something that causes concern in other countries. Fortunately, so far, there hasn't been another country that has reported a case. And that's also, well, within what is possible. It's good, right? That it hasn't spread yet, and let's hope it doesn't. Well, that's how things are. Let's move on to other topics and interesting situations. By the way, just to mention, they've already been telling me about this. An earthquake. This happened in Oaxaca. In fact, the latest confirmation in Oaxaca was that it was 4.2. Some people received alerts on their cell phones. Maybe it was felt because it was very shallow, let's say it wasn't 7 kilometers deep, and that's why some people felt it. Well, let's move on to other matters. Notice that there has been a great scientific breakthrough. As you know, we don't just talk about geopolitical issues, but also international news in general. And when there are breakthroughs or interesting things to talk about, we need to discuss them. We need to talk about them. Yes, these news stories are gradually changing the world and at an increasing pace. A historic breakthrough is achieved. Listen to this very carefully. An artificial kidney, let's say a kidney that is natural, in the sense that it's not a machine. It's a real kidney, but it's universal. In other words, it can be transplanted into anyone. And this has made the scientists obviously very excited. Scientists turn a type A kidney into type O, compatible with any patient, functional in the human body, and they did this during a historic breakthrough in medicine. According to researchers from China and Canada, together they have managed to transform a type A human kidney into a universal type O organ compatible with any blood type. It's a scientific achievement that has already been published in the journal Nature Biomedical Engineering. The modified kidney was transplanted from a brain-dead patient. They put it in. Experiments like this are done on people already declared deceased, whose brains no longer function. So they put the modified kidney, a kidney that was blood type A, into someone with type O. Yes, with the modification already done. According to what they report, although there was a mild immune response at first, by the 3rd day, Yes, this was a lot. I mean, the negative response was less than expected. This is an indication that the potential for immune tolerance is much better than they thought. The project isn't something that happens overnight. The project has been in development for 10 years. 10 years of work between a group of scientists from Canada and China to create what they are, special enzymes that remove the blood group antigens from the kidney, making it compatible with recipients of any blood type. The enzymes act like molecular scissors that cut the sugar chains, the type A antigens, and transform them into the type O organ. It's a remarkable breakthrough. Well, several issues are drawing attention. Right now, Steve Witkoff, the special envoy to Iran from the White House, can be seen. They're on the aircraft carrier, not the one that's deployed in the Middle East. After the initial negotiations, Steve Witkoff was brought to the United States aircraft carrier stationed in the Middle East. According to reports, he was accompanied by Admiral Brad Cooper, commander of the Naval Forces of the United States Central Command, and by Jared Kushner, son-in-law and advisor, Trump's son-in-law and presidential advisor also, right? There they are in the middle. That's Sweetcoff. The tall one is Jared Kushner, and that's Bradley Cooper on the left side. Well, that's how things are. That's the issue. The Admiral, the Special Envoy, and Jared Kushner making this visit, right? Obviously, it's interesting, especially considering that it's a message, ultimately a message about the closeness that the military currently has with Iran, which is also surprising. Over there in Ukraine, since the suits are practically frozen, do you see with the rain, the cold, and the ice, the suits on the outside are very frozen? In this case, they are firefighters who work, well, I don't know if it's day and night or not, to put out the attacks that are launched from Russia. Ukrainian rescuers and firefighters say they work 24 hours in extreme cold conditions. Well, to save as many lives as possible, right? Another thing that draws attention is this image, another one of the images that appear from the protests over there in Venezuela. People shouting unafraid. Families of hostages, politicians, of these political prisoners who still haven't been released are outside the helicoide, this torture center run by the Chavista regime. So what now? Even though they say they're gonna start releasing us starting this coming week, the families are desperate, they want us to be freed already, and they're going out to protest. Obviously, an important issue is taking place today. By the way, over there in the United States, the Secretary of War is also present, Pete Hesse himself, or formerly Secretary of Defense, right? And he announces that the Pentagon is going to cut all funding to Harvard University, especially for ongoing military programs. They also cancel all scholarships. Well, that's part of it. Obviously, it's not about saving money or anything. It's a political issue on Donald Trump's part with the disagreements he has with several private universities, right? Also, another issue that stands out today is what's been appearing on various Russian networks, a complaint they're making about the PAN. They're selling a slice of bread like this in plastic, separated one by one for about 2 cents each. According to what the Russians are reporting, in St. Petersburg, people are complaining that the recent economy has been badly affected and that it's a struggle to get basic things like bread itself. A single slice of bread is being offered for about 9.9 rubles, which is roughly 2 cents of a dollar. Imagine having to buy little slices of bread one by one. That's pretty tough. It also shows a Chinese company showing this technology where, with this kind of beam, this machine aims to remove, for example, rust with a laser. There are already several types of machines that do that with a laser beam. This time, it's a machine that, from a fairly significant distance, manages to remove rust from iron, not from other metallic things. They say it does this efficiently and without destroying the metal, without sanding it or anything like that. And let's say it also does it very quickly and well. Another interesting topic today has to do with Haiti. I was telling you that there's a change of president happening. The Haitian Presidential Council has already resigned. There were 2 years of administration, but poverty remains, violence continues, and the problem in Haiti is much deeper. So the transition is basically meaningless. I don't know if it's there, but there are no changes. You don't see any changes in this country. It's still a complicated situation. They also stopped this over there in Pakistan. You know, there was an attack on a mosque, one of those suicide attacks, right? Or, well, 4 suspects have already been reported detained for the bombing at a mosque that killed 31 people and left many injured, also in that region of the world. Another topic that also draws attention among what's happening in the world today. There's a Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is on, well, the F-22s that were supposed to fly over the stadium were cancelled because these F-22s were deployed to operational areas on military missions, which obviously have priority beyond the game, right? So that's also obviously important. Good evening, Magico Luna, Novak's father, Jose Sara, and everyone in the community. This is a quick broadcast. We'll meet again tonight unless something urgent happens. Hope you're well. Have a great night, afternoon, and weekend. Cordido Angel Murillo, Patriot, Community Big Hug. Take care. Goodbye.